NerdandSon.
Welcome back to the Nerd and Son podcast. Once again, we are here.
Hello.
I am Nerd. I am Ralph.
I'm Son. I'm Connor.
Hi. And today we are actually doing our second episode for our environmental encounters. And this week we are talking about the frozen wastes.
Actually,
What are we?
see, you've fallen into the trap, just like I did. Because when we discussed this episode, we talked about tundras.
Yes, the rough and
Talked
tumble
about-
harshers.
The rough and tumble tundras. Alright? And so I actually found out. I didn't know, because whenever I heard tundra, I always assumed Arctic, barren waste, there's nothing. So when I was surprised to find out what the tundra was. And the Tundra's available iForce Max hybrid powertrain generates endless opportunities for adventure with an electrifying 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque.
Of shit torque.
Foot? Well, I don't know. It's just weird. Anyway, whether you're towing your trailer or taking the ATVs out to the desert, Tundra's max towing capacity of 12,000 pounds and max payload of 1940 pounds will help you hit the road with a truck full of fun.
There we go. You know what?
Why didn't they say truckload? That would make sense. It's a truck full of fun. That's disgusting. Anyway, the real definition of a tundra is a treeless plain.
Yes.
Does that mean that the Midwest is a plain? Is a tundra?
I think temperature has to go into that.
It said a treeless plain.
Yeah, did it say anything about temperature?
A treeless plain.
Because they talk about the
Does
plains
that
of the
mean-
Midwest, but they don't talk about the tundra of the Midwest.
They don't. You're right. But I don't know.
Don't know either.
I don't know.
I roll dice and play games. I'm not smart.
But also, right, you don't have to if you're playing in a tundra campaign, you don't have to actually and have some green in there. Although there is some stuff we'll talk about, which is pretty cool. So
Okay.
good stuff. I suppose we should just get into it, right?
Sounds good. Except for one thing. One thing.
One thing.
We talked about a little bit of green. With that, we're going to talk about a tree. Our link tree.
Our link treeless plain.
Our link treeless plain. But yes, in the description will be our link to our link tree that has our links to all of our social medias. Look how I actually said link. I don't know how many different times. I'm more having Nintendo come after me about this crap.
Yeah.
But if you want to get a hold of us,
that's the
just
princess,
follow
right?
that. Yes. What?
Yeah. Yeah, Zelda's the hero with green, and he's got the sword.
No. Zelda's the princess. Link is the...
Why is it called The Legend of Zelda, then?
I don't know, maybe she's legendary.
No, it's the legend of the hero, and the hero is Zelda. That's how that works.
Wow. Okay.
Write down in the comments that he's wrong.
Yes. Tell me how I am wrong. That's it. And if I'm wrong more than 5 times, I will lose a heart every time.
Yeah, just like Zelda.
Yes. Or I can find another one in a pot. Don't know. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about, you have on here different climates.
Yes. So, when you think of these things, you think of northern, barren wastes of just ice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about tundras and Arctic areas, right? And you think of just fields of ice and blizzards as far as the eye can see, and there's nothing but snow.
Yeah, you kind of get that picture in my head. At least I did. You got the lone wanderer trying to brace himself against the weather. He might have a lone pack animal just behind him, trying to get that and trying to make their way through this endless wasteland of white,
fighting the wind. And
yes,
the snow. Absolutely. And so when we think of like in a fantasy setting, we think of I don't even remember what it's called. Up in like Forgotten Realms, where they have the snowy area.
Well, you got that. You got your frozen waste and everything up there, but your most famous area, from what I remember and reading and everything like that, would be the Icewind Dale area. Yes,
that's the one. Icewind Dale.
Icewind Dale area. Yes. So you got your book series, which is still probably the best book series. I mean, it is expanded and everything like that, but you got your Crystal Shard, you got your Halfling's Gem, and that first book series. And it's also where you get to know Artemis Atreyu.
Artemis Fowl.
Yeah, Artemis Fowl. Yes.
Yep.
Another bad movie adaptation. Oh my god. Okay.
No, we don't talk about that.
Talk about what?
Exactly.
Okay.
But when you think about this, you think about the hazards involved, right? And you have your blizzards and whiteouts, where like we talked about with any kind of encounter if you're in the wilderness in any kind of thing, there's always the risk of getting lost. There's always that threat above, and with a blizzard and whiteout, you can help. If you as a DM want that to happen, you can make a whiteout happen.
Yeah.
Right, and then you don't know where anything is,
I think especially if you're looking at a campaign and you have a list of hazards that you want to do, and you want to take the campaign up north to battle frost giants or any kind of environment where you're doing that, or you're having like an ice age happening and everything like that. We have to actually talk about the hazards, and also envision what you think the climate is, because if you can actually envision the climate, then that's actually going to help you bring out the hazards and everything else that are associated with it. So you can come up with ideas for, like what you're saying, your blizzard and your whiteout condition. What's going to happen? Are they going to be doing a hex crawl and it ends up a whiteout and they lose track of which way they're going, and what kind of environment or encounter are you going to set up if they go the wrong way? So that's really the kind of things you have to really think about while you got the temperature as for hazards. So I don't know. Also, with the thinking environments, if it's just going to be a plane, is that what we're going to start out with, or do you want to go to different?
Are you talking about like a plane of ice?
Yeah.
I mean, so you also have, like, when you think of like snowy, like you think of mountains too. I at least do. I think of frozen cliff sides and everything.
Yes.
And so with that comes an avalanche, right? And the threat of an avalanche, which, so that's another one. And then you have your day and night temperature differences, right?
It might be
frozen and cold during the day, but it's gonna get much worse at night.
Exactly. Yeah, and even in some of these frozen areas, it could actually get above freezing during the day, but the ground and environment, stuff like that, just keeps everything so cold that it just, anything that does slightly melt will just refreeze at night. So yeah, big difference. Which,
absolutely.
Speaking of temperature and stuff like that, one of the things that you really have to watch out for, and you have in the note here, is going to be like hypothermia or frostbite.
Yep, absolutely.
And with those things too, I was looking through a bunch of different books, and there's charts out there, so you can also take penalties associated with how long you are out in the cold, depending on if you have the clothes for it, if you're covered, also if you have the right like footwear and to travel through it or not, and challenges and what you can do. The only thing that I would think of, because I kind of had a problem within my game, especially with you doing the hazards with the frostbite and hypothermia, is that is just another tactic to hurt the players. So you have to be very careful on what's going on. So you kind of actually have to set up the expectation before you actually go, ooh, we're going into the cold, this guy's go here.
Yep.
They're unprepared, so you're going to automatically start marking them negative in whatever stat or anything that you need. So
it's all about the communication there, because like you can use the threat of frostbite and hypothermia in order to dissuade them from doing something, or it can be a reasonable let's just off the top of the head, it could be a consequence to an action or a decision that a player a player character makes, in that they, let's say, in episode 5, right? And they go out to try to find a comrade or something, and they go out at night in the frozen frozen tundras, right?
Exactly.
So you want to think about this, think about Hoth, right? You should have said that.
Oh yeah, I knew where you were going.
Example.
Yes, because
Perfect example.
I thought these smelled bad on the outside, but but yeah, I mean, that's a good example. If something is going to get cold, are you going to give them the opportunity to try to heat up, like they did for Luke by burying him inside the tauntaun? Or if you do, did you? Oh my gosh, what was the Leonardo DiCaprio movie?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh,
the one with the bear.
Yes.
The one with the bear.
And the bear about half killed him and everything like that. He's trying to make his way back. He did a similar thing where he actually was inside of a horse to try to stay warm and everything, to maintain body heat. So
The Revenant.
The Revenant, yes. So, yeah, I mean, that's just another example that's taken. So, okay, so the Revenant actually stole from Star Wars. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Just another Star Wars derivative. Yep.
Exactly. Just another Star Wars derivative. Like let's see, what do we got? That Zack Snyder movie that came out earlier this year.
Rebel Moon.
You've got The Revenant. Yeah, Rebel Moon. You've got The Revenant. You've got Star Wars Episode 7. Just all really cheap derivatives of Star Wars.
No, actually, all movies can go back to Star Wars. I mean, if you can't actually watch Mean Girls and see the parallel, I don't know what you're doing wrong.
Another Leonardo DiCaprio movie, the one of the Shakespeare, where he's doing Romeo and Juliet, but like it's in the modern day.
Wasn't that called Romeo and Juliet?
It was Romeo and Juliet, but that's just Star Wars again.
Yes, everything is Star Wars.
Everything is Star Wars.
Okay, how many people are going to listen to this and actually think that we're serious? And they're going to watch Mean Girls and go, I don't get the correlation.
Well, if you don't get the correlation between Mean Girls and Star Wars, I'm not spelling it out. You have to figure that out on your own.
Okay.
If you can't see
or leave a comment down below Connor will explain it to you.
I don't mean to insult our audience, but if you can't see the correlation between Mean Girls and Star Wars, you're stupid.
That's great. We just annihilated the 3 people that listen to us.
Media literacy at its all-time lowest.
Awesome. Okay. Ooh. Yes. You know how hard it is not to be sidetracked sometimes and go down some of these rabbit holes? That's great.
Dad, you're a coward for not sticking with it. You're a coward.
I'm trying to be nice. Trying to be nice.
No niceties.
Yeah.
No niceties.
Some of us have to be nice.
Well, some of us have to be like the plastics in Mean Girls, which is a direct correlation to the Sith and the Empire within the narrative of the Star Wars universe.
Wow. Okay. You know what? You may have something, because honestly, I've never watched Mean Girls. I just pulled that out of the hat.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be vulnerable here. I haven't watched Mean Girls either. I've only listened to the musical.
I don't know if that's better or worse. I don't. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's pretty good. You should listen to it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, me and you drove from San Diego and stuff like that. So what we were doing, singing the Muppet Show tunes.
Yep.
You were singing tunes from
I did Frozen.
Hamlet.
Frozen.
You did Frozen.
Me are gonna change the world forever. 'Cause I can do most anything, and I can stand next to you and watch.
I got some on video. Okay, I'm gonna add in our video because I have the one where
oh no,
you're talking about from the Muppet movie.
I can't remember this. I don't remember this.
Okay, well you have to watch.
Why are there so many songs?
No. You were singing moving on along. Moving right along.
Grab it, together we'll nab it. We'll hitchhike, bus, or yellow cabin. Moving right along. Footloose and fancy free. Getting here is half the fun. Come share it with me.
But it was a road trip. We had to.
It was a road trip, so we do that. Okay, so people starting to get that here. All right. So
wow, what a great segue. I really enjoyed watching that. Wow. Wow, that was really good.
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna see it live when everybody else sees it.
Nice. All right. So what other hazards do we want to talk about?
Now it's not a crevasse; it's a crevasse.
Crevasse.
But no, you have crevices. Did you
to chase? To chaws.
I always think of when I think of crevice.
Butt crack.
I always think.
Butt crack.
I think of the Mount Everest.
Okay, you're talking about where they have that and they're taking that ladder across.
Yeah, and like how they use dead people as landmarks going up.
Yeah, because they don't bring the bodies down and everything. So yeah.
Well, you can't at a certain point.
Right. So yeah, as morbid as that is, I mean that's actually true.
Yeah.
So that would actually be an interesting thing to add into an encounter to set up your theater of the mind where you're actually talking about that and just describe the frozen people that tried to make the path before you or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All once very motivated individuals.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Now they're just slow and lazy. Life is harsh.
Well,
What, ice is just very slow water, right?
I suppose.
Okay. No idea. Okay. But yeah, the crevasses and everything are a big deal because you got to take care of your environment. And like you get some of these videos where you see that you get these trips, they go out and they walk across the... mine just went completely blank. Sorry, glaciers. They walk across the glaciers and they talk about all the crevasses and stuff that you have to step across and over and be careful where you walk. So, but they can also lead into interesting cave systems.
Yep.
In a crevasse, so you can actually use that as a setup.
When I think of like caves and cave systems. Like snowy caves, I think of the ride from Disney.
Which ride from Disney?
The Matterhorn.
Hold on. I've rode that a couple times, but I did it in Orlando.
Oh, I did it in Disneyland.
Well, you rode it in Orlando too, but you were...
I was young.
6?
I was a young child,
something like that.
I don't even think I was 6 because my memory had not started yet.
I'm 50 years old. Mine still was refused to start. So, oh well. So, but okay. Yeah, with the Matterhorn.
It's got the. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's a Yeti that pops out in the middle
Yeah.
of it, and it's spooky.
No, I was confusing the ride. Me and you I have never rode the Matterhorn. And when you went to Disney in Orlando, you didn't either. Because they were just building it. And then when we went back later, it was closed down for repair.
Oof.
For some reason, I was thinking of the ride, which is in the in Epcot, which is in Sweden or whatever. The ship, but okay, I was thinking the wrong thing. My fault. Completely wrong. That's why I gave you a look like, what is the snow thing? Okay, so no.
Good. I was losing the momentum there. I was like, oh no, what are we doing here?
That was all me. See, my memory hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you also have snow depth, right?
Yes.
Not all of us can be Legolas and light-footed as elves.
Exactly. So we got to actually have his proper shoes or tennis rackets, whatever you want to call them.
Yep. Tennis rackets on your feet. You gotta have your snowshoes. Or else you might, fall in.
Yes.
Or have to try to trudge through waist-deep snow like you did back in '76.
Yeah. I watched a video a couple weeks ago. Didn't even think about it when we were doing this, but I was watching a snowboarder that actually was going down a hill through trees and stuff like that, and went through a couple trees and saw a board with 2 feet sticking down in the snow. Okay, so I don't know what this guy did, but he went face down in there, probably 5 feet.
Jesus.
How he was still breathing, or it just must have just happened. And the other guy was digging him out, and I don't think it was set up as fake, just because he was trying to pull the snow out. Snow was falling back in, and he was completely upside down for the thing. He just had one of his GoPros, so I think this was actually actual. But I was like, wow, because some things on the internet, yeah, that's all real. No, they're set up and everything, but this, to me, if it was fake, it fooled me. But I was like, wow. It just show how soft and stuff like that, because he just went straight down. So,
yep,
amazing.
So hopefully that guy was there. But
yeah.
So
if I can,
snow depth is definitely a because you know what? Going back to a previous thing, when you have really soft snow, you get some avalanches.
Yes. It'd be good to make noise.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Yodelay-hee-hoo.
Exactly. But yeah, you can actually, it can be set up at different things like that too. You could use avalanches to your advantage. Say your party is being hunted by wolves. Okay. And though you may not have a Liam Neeson in your party, okay, the wolves could actually be very smart. Okay, please tell me you got that reference.
Nope.
Okay, we're gonna skip that. But you could have a bunch of pack wolves that are very smart, and say your group is trying to get away from them, and then you get them to all howl simultaneously and cause an avalanche.
Or you can fire a firework at the top of a mountain and take out the entire Mongol army in one fell swoop with one avalanche.
Yes.
Now all of China knows you're here.
Awesome. Okay. Oh, you don't explain your reference now?
No.
Okay. We're gonna leave that.
Everyone's seen Mulan.
Oh my god, I haven't seen it. You spoiled it. So
let's talk about actual tundras and what they have there. So this is mostly in the north, and when I was doing this, when I think of snowy areas and Arctic weather, I think of penguins. But penguins are in the south.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have anything. You got your rock hoppers that might go somewhat north, but not up to the North Pole.
Yeah, so they're all in the south.
It'd be your Antarctic penguins.
but you do have hares, reindeer, polar bears, owls, foxes, lemmings.
You know,
My hands you
don't
lemmings.
set them off on their own. Yes, in a direction. You know, I didn't even. I have to be honest. I didn't even think of lemmings. But hey.
I only looked at a list.
Okay. So you just got to. Well, I mean, you can use them to your advantage. You can get some that actually go like this. You get other ones that are. So. And I'm not trying to explain that either. So if you can't get that, I'm sorry. The game. You have. I don't know. I have such a nostalgia for old games like that. But it's just a nostalgia until I go back and actually play them. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. How?
Yeah.
This is horrible.
That's why anything that you feel nostalgia for must stay in that zone. You cannot go back.
Right. Not the same. Definitely not the same. Okay.
Except for the stuff I'm nostalgic for. That stuff's better.
Well, your nostalgia is only 20 years old at max, so.
Yeah.
So it's still relevant.
So if you're thinking about, things your party might want to hunt or animals that you can run into, those are the kinds of things to look out for. And speaking of hunting, you also have gathering, right? And I did not know that blueberries were an Arctic plant.
Yep.
So that was something I learned. There's blueberries.
Yeah, that's why I've already been outside this year feeding my blueberries as I did last fall, before they were even started growing or anything else like that too. So yeah.
So, but because of the harsh winds and the bitter cold, all plants have adapted to be low to the ground. So that they're not picked up by the wind and moved. That's why there's no trees, is because of the wind is so bad that none of the plants got the opportunity to grow tall.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to sidetrack this one again.
Yeah.
Okay. Tumbleweeds. Okay.
Yeah.
How they just move because of the wind and everything else like that?
Yeah.
Do you know they're not native to the United States?
No. I did not.
No. Oh, great. Now I just
They're synonymous with the West.
Yeah, they're very synonymous with the West, but they are.
You can't have
associated over in the in Russia.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. That was something that
sense.
I learned and everything when I was looking it up and everything, because you had that town, and I forget exactly where that is now, but I don't know if you saw videos. I mean, it was
overrun.
It was completely overrun by tumbleweeds. So yeah. So that's what brought me to saying that when you said that the wind would just take them away. Yeah. The things that you think.
I guess in your Arctic adventure you can have tumbleweeds.
Apparently, you have blueberries. You have tall blueberries. Yep.
Tumbleberries.
Yes. There we go. Thorny tumbleberries.
Thorny tumbleberries.
Yes.
Thorny tumbleberries.
Well,
your bard will have a field day.
They are rolling through the snow. Okay, I'm sorry.
Another plant that I liked the look of was an Arctic lupine. It's like this purple flowery stalk thing, and like it's a field of them, and it's really pretty. I thought it was a really nice looking flower.
Yeah.
So that's why I put it in the notes. And then another berry is a bearberry.
Well, it's another bear, so
another bear. Barely.
Are bearberries edible? I don't know.
I don't know, but they're bright red. They remind me of crab apples, and I was told as a child that crab apples were poisonous. I never tested them.
I heard that too, but I think it depends on the variety of crab apples. To be honest with you.
Hang on. We're gonna
Because if you know the front of our house here, okay, those 2 trees that I have, they get red berries, and it's like actually a type of cherry. Both of those trees are a type of cherry, but those cherries are not edible by humans. They're very poisonous. Birds eat them, but
they are. They are edible. They're just tart. They're just very tart.
Okay.
Huh. Well, would you look at that?
Hey, look at that. See, we're learning things.
We're learning things.
That's excellent. But you did something here in our notes, which is actually really nice, especially if you are doing something online over Theater of the Mind. Showing pictures online or having a printout and shown into your group at the table. That actually helps them build a picture if they're not familiar with some of these things. So, because honestly...
C, Control V.
Copy paste. I'll give you an example. If you've never really been in the country and you've only been in suburbia or the city or something like that, you've probably never seen a blueberry on a blueberry plant. There's a good possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make fun of somebody with that because their environment growth and everything's a little bit bigger. But being out here and growing them,
that you haven't seen,
Yeah, exactly. There's stuff. If I go downtown, I stuff I've never seen. So, I
remember Jalen when we went to New York. She wanted to see one of the rats. Have I told this story before?
I don't know if you sold it on one of our podcasts that we've actually recorded or our 6 or 7 test podcasts we did. So go ahead and get it. It's just an awesome story.
Right. So we went to New York for a concert, and she was like, "I want to see a rat. I want to see one of these rats, these New York rats." And
that's what everybody wants to do.
I mean, hey, you hear about these crazy cat-sized rats, and you're like, that can't be real. That can't be. And sure enough, we were walking after the concert. So this is like after midnight, 1 a.m. We're walking down, and it just It's not even dead, right? It's not even like dead, silent. It's not even a silent city. Like the city is alive. People are out walking.
Yeah.
And here comes this massive fucking rat just right across, just cutting us off from where we're walking, and she like jumps up like super high and screams, and I'm like, why'd you scream? That's what you wanted to see. You wanted to see that. It was so big. It was fucking huge. And I know that was a small one.
Oh, see that's awesome. I wish I would have saw that on video. That would have been a timekeeper. So, but yeah, especially doing these pictures and everything like that, sharing them, it helps out with the theater of the mind when you're actually trying to describe what's going on and everything too. So, props help.
Another one that I liked, that I thought was cool, was the lichen. Because I've heard of lichen. I've never seen it, right? And it's orange, like algae fungus that grows on rocks and stuff. That's pretty cool. That's pretty nifty.
It's your lichen.
It's like orange moss.
It's a lichen, so it's an evil wizard
with you?
algae fungus.
What's lichen?
Nothing. What's a lichen with you?
So what's cracking, Vecna? What's lichen?
Don't mess with me. I only have one eye.
One hand.
Yeah, he's missing. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the creatures that you can.
Okay.
Speaking of liches,
well, let's go ahead.
Encounters.
With that, it'd be an extra thing, but let's go ahead and take a quick break here at the moment, and then we'll get back to the creatures.
Old man is tired.
Yep.
Hi guys, if you want to take a break from role-playing and watch someone burn their face off while eating hot peppers, head on over to YouTube at 13 Peppers and like and subscribe. And if you want to grow these peppers yourself, you can actually purchase these seeds at 13peppersbyralph.com. With that, have a good day.
Sorry about that, and we are back. So we were going to talk about creatures and what to expect.
Yes. So fantasy creatures, things that you can put in. Take the above list of animals, make them giant. There you go. There's fantasy creatures in a tundra environment. You have your like frost giants, and white dragons. You have your crawly worms, your remoras, your purple worms that burrow through the ground. And I think you have a story about remoras.
I do, which was one of the fun things that we had at the table. I know we were talking about it earlier when we were looking up remoras, because I know I got it out of this book, and I don't know where. I try to look it up, and it's The Forgotten Realms, The Great Glacier. This was an old PDF I got that I just decided to go ahead and put in a folder. So, but there
Killing
was
trees.
Yes, exactly. But there was when we went up north in our campaign, there was something I saw in that book which they were talking about the crevasses and the rimharas funneling through them. Okay, and it talked about one of the sports that they did is riding it. So what we did is, I don't remember if it had stats or not.
Listen, Al-Gaib. As it is written.
Okay. Never mind. I got that. Son of a bitch. Okay. A little slow there. Okay. But,
I'm about to... warning. I am about to break your eardrum.
No, Okay.
Listen, Al-Gaib.
You know what? That actually worked really good because it adjusted your volume automatically.
What the fuck? That's
either
crazy.
On your end or my end. So that was actually good because I was worried for a second.
Eardrums.
Okay, I would have to actually knock it down in the audio anyway. But yes, so we were talking about that, and I thought that would be cool. And one of the people at the table, Chris Schuler, we just called him Schuler. He's like, I want to do it.
Wait, hold up.
What?
Hang on. I would definitely change names here.
Okay.
Redacted.
Okay, so one of the people that we had actually at the table, Schuler Chris, he actually wanted to... Well, that wasn't right. They can't get that. They can't figure that out. But he's like, ooh, this would be cool. I want to try this. So he actually did that. We set that up to where he jumped on. He made the rolls, everything it needed. Yep. And then it decided it wanted to turn real fast and then dive. And part of the thing he had to roll is to make sure he maintains holding as he is actually on it. And then when straightened up before it dived down, able to jump back off. And when we made the curve and he made his roll, he hit the exact number perfectly that he needed. So we actually talked about him just getting that
as it was written.
Yes, as he just goes to the side real fast. He's holding on to 1 foot in the stirrup. He lost all the control and everything like that, trying to get on that. When the thing straightened up, he actually made it, did the roll, and is able to jump off and everything like that. But the way it was actually described was just awesome in the game. And that just became one of the cool aspects that happened in the game that we talked about for a long time after. It was just cool. I mean, that made his day.
Christopher Walken showed up, and he was like, who is this Muad'Dib?
So, but yeah, as a DM, if you can actually do small things to highlight a player to where they did something that is like, yes, I am awesome, and it makes their day, that pays dividends for, in our group, years. So, absolutely. Yeah, trying to make stuff special and walk it was just cool. It just worked out perfectly. So,
absolutely. So that was Remoraz, and then you have Yetis and Sabertooths and Mammoths.
So why do you got to keep things cold in the frozen north? Or is their marketing just that good for the Yetis?
Their marketing is just that good.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Just a question.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
they really good coolers, you know?
yeah. So.
Chris coolers.
I got one. I bought into the marketing. I got one. Okay. So, and then
I did you know welcome to the economy podcast. Did you know that it only takes like a couple cents to make one of those and they mark it up for to ridiculous amounts?
Oh, probably. It's like anything else.
It's craziness.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying for the name. You're paying for the name Yeti.
Exactly. It's like anything else. You're just paying for the name. But I will say those coolers, I don't know what is different about them, even though it's pennies on the dollar to make them. They do keep stuff colder longer. So
that's your, yeah.
Because
it's good.
Yeah, it's great because their thermal insulation is very, very good. So I can't complain because all we did was use ice packet.
Well, you know what? I can complain. I can complain about us giving free advertising. Yeti, if you want us to keep talking about how great you are, sponsor us.
Okay, there we go. Okay, what other creatures do we have?
So actually, that's all I put on here. But if you go on to Donjon, and there's the link. I have the link in the notes here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're putting it in the description or
not.
Yeah,
I put all that stuff.
You can it's just a big long list of creatures, and you can filter by environment, and that's how I got a lot of. I did that and then just picked a couple of the interesting ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so with the random tables and everything out there, use what people give you. If you can't come up with an idea, because, I mean, sometimes you just got the brain fog and it's just not working, use these tables and for creatures in the frost and the encounters, then take that to another table and bump up the encounter. There's so much stuff that you can do out there, and all the stuff is, for the most part, free. So, which is very, very nice. So, okay.
Yep. And so that's as far as monsters go, right?
Yep.
But what are the kinds, the people, right? That's what I looked into some of the people. I got a real baseline understanding of, and just a real big top-down overview of how people live in these environments, right? And the people that live in these environments, you have the Inuit. But the Inuit, the word Inuit does not include Alaska's Yupik people. And then you have the word Eskimo, which is a blanket all term that covers all people in the north, but is considered offensive by many Inuit people. So it's definitely, you definitely don't say that anymore, but Inuit is not a blanket catch-all term, even though it's used that way. So,
yeah.
But those are the kinds of people that, those are generally the people who live up north. And what were you going to say?
Oh, no. I was just agreeing with you and things, so yeah.
And then they use sleds to get around, the dog sleds and such. And they stay alive by hunting fish, seal, whales, walruses, and other Arctic animals. There's not too much agriculture going on, so it's a lot of meat, and because there's not many plants, they wear large coats made from the animals that they kill to keep warm.
Yes.
Right? And then traditionally they lived in igloos during the winter and migrated to a summer camp with tents in a larger community during the warmer months. And then there is a large focus on traditions and community, right? When you live somewhere, when you live in an environment that's constantly trying to kill you, it's important to maintain a community and a strong sense of togetherness, right? And I put a note in here because if you have a group that's focused on traditions and community, they may be wary of outsiders. And if you are playing adventures, you are probably outsiders, right?
Right.
And so you might have to gain the trust of the local community.
Exactly. And I mean, the only other thing too, besides like the Inuit and the you pick people and stuff like that, your campaign can actually go more European. Okay, so you can actually have more like Viking settings if you wanted to do that, especially with a lot of the games that's actually come out lately with the Viking themes and everything. You can, especially if you played them, use kind of that overall, especially if you want to describe like architecture, if you kind of like that. That actually might be interesting, and then change it up with a smaller community with actual igloos and everything else. So, but the other thing too, you take advantage, and it depends on your type of campaign that you play. Like, for example, if you started your campaign on a pirate ship and you have pirates, okay, or they did a lot of traveling, one of the things you worry about in the real life is scurvy. Okay, so you need citrus. So it depends on how detailed you have your game in there. If you're actually doing that, if they have to maintain, maintain that. But when you're in the Arctic, you don't have access to citrus. Okay, so that's all done with the type of meat and fat that they eat, which actually they get the nutrients and everything that way. So that was actually really interesting. I looked. And once again, use what you learn and know. And there was a talk about scurvy on a show, a little deep dive and everything on that too, on a scientific podcast that I watched. And they were talking about that. And I was like, you know what? I never thought about that. They don't have access to citrus up there. So what do they do? That could be something that you take care of, that you talk about. Also, too, the way people live and everything, because normally, if you're not from the north, you're used to your day-night cycles. Okay? So now that you have
think about that while we were,
Yeah, but now you have 6 months a night, or you have 6 months a day. That takes a big difference in what things, because you can have more ambush predators and more animals that are more carnivorous out hunting because they got more cover than what they do during the endless day. So, but it also depends on how far north that you go.
And I don't think we can have an Arctic thing without mentioning the Northern Lights,
Yes.
And just how just gorgeous the sky gets. I wanna see it one day, with my own eyes. But
okay.
That can be a nice little setting, set dressing that you can put on to have your players to know that they're in a different setting, a different place, otherworldly lights in the sky.
Yeah, and I will say, if you've never seen the Aurora Borealis, stuff like that, and the Northern Lights, it is beautiful.
I'm pretty sure that's the snake that's eating its own tail.
That could be. Oh my god, we're going into Ragnarok, ain't we? Yeah, okay. The Norse mythology. But I have never actually seen the actual Northern Lights, but if you want to experience it without actually going north, wait until you get a notification that there is a sunburst that is actually heading our way. It will actually expand out the ring of the Northern Lights so you can actually see it. Where I'm actually, I'm in northern United States. I guess you want to call that too. I'm in Ohio, and I was able to see that a couple nights. Not directly overhead, but you can look up north and see those a couple times. So it's not the exact same, but it was a partial experience, which is actually very, very cool.
Sweet.
But yeah, but use all that in your headcanon when you're describing the stuff in the theater of the mind. So, and the reason that we talk about this and talk about all the little side things and environments and whatnot more than mechanics, because sometimes mechanics are not as necessary to discuss because they're just there, but the describing the situation and actually immersing your players. That's really the biggest thing. Then you can actually add the mechanics afterwards if you want to, but you're going to get more buy-in and everything like that if your players can actually understand exactly what they're describing, where they're at, the tone, the mood, and everything, and use what you have around you, what knowledge that you have from knowing about the Inuit and the Yupik people, and build from there.
Mechanics can bog down your fantasy sometimes, right? Let's say you like a very basic example, right? If you want to play that Legolas character, that just like that archer, right? The amazing archer, and you are in a big battle scene or something like that, or you're doing something, and you're playing a game where now you're counting arrows, right? And it's not that kind of game. You're playing more fluffy, and you're shooting arrows off, and it can bog you down to try to count. Okay, that's one. I have 10. And it's possible that if you can describe yourself as a great archer and be shooting at stuff, but then all of a sudden you're out of arrows. Right. Whereas it might be better in that scenario to just keep shooting arrows and being an archer. And that can be the same for the cold and the bitter cold. You can describe it. You can talk about the things that you're doing in game, building a fire, trying to stay warm, making an igloo and still being cold even though it's warmer than outside. And you can talk about these things and have it be setting, whereas you're not trying to track hypothermia or tracking exhaustion, stuff like that. It can be better just to describe it than try to bog the players down with everything. If you're not playing like a gritty survival campaign where everyone's playing spreadsheets to resource manage.
So which I like a very crunchy mechanical game, but that is also just the background behind the set dressing and describing the set dressing and what goes on. Because within that actually point, and I know some groups would be newer and learning mechanics and everything like that, but if you describe the situation and you do the really good theater of the mind, then the mechanics actually become easier, because then the players can describe exactly what they want to do. And overall, the mechanics do get easier because of that. So, but yeah, describe it, everything. And then, as we say on every video that we have done for quite a while, take what you know, steal stuff from movies. Use that and describe, repurpose it.
Take a look at The Revenant. That's a great example because you feel cold while you're watching. Right? The short amount of Hoth from Star Wars, steal that. What else? I don't really watch a lot of wintry stuff.
Okay, well, actually, I'm trying to think.
The Donner Party.
Yes. How tasty are my companions?
Apparently, this came up at work today.
This is what you talk about at work.
Well, this is the kind of stuff that I just know off the top of my head, so that I can just pull it out of my ass whenever. Apparently, the best part of the human to eat is this part right here. Apparently, it's delicious.
Really?
This bit right here. Apparently, it tastes like calf.
Okay.
Who knows? Any aspiring cannibals in the audience? Feel free to test the hypothesis there, but or any cannibals, please let us know. Let us know if we're correct. if what we've heard is correct. So I'm gonna put the onus on our community of 2 people to go out there and do the field research.
No, not trying to do that. Okay. There was a short-lived sketch comedy group, which was I think they were short-lived. 5 nerdy white guys. It was something white people. It was white in the name of the title. I have to look at it. But they did a sketch.
The whitest kids you know.
Was that it? That might be. It might be. It should be that. But they did a sketch that talked about the sports team that crashed in, what was it, the Andes?
Ah, yes.
Okay. And they were talking about that, and people were dying and survived. They was like, okay, we're going to have to eat somebody. And they were doing all that and everything like that. And then they started chowing down and everything. And they started talking and stuff like that. And they say, well, there's only one part of Jimmy left. No, I don't want to eat the dick. But that was the whole premise and everything. So, yeah.
Whitest Kids You Know ran from 2007 to 2011.
Okay, so a little bit longer than what I thought. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
It is.
Okay.
As soon as you said that, I knew that. So that was sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an old man memory not quite functioning. So, but yeah.
When I was knocking on my head, can you add a hollow knock sound, please?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's different. I've done that on every episode so far. You should go back and listen to what I've done to you. I have the power. All right. So,
all right.
I don't know.
Are we
So,
ready for our creature corner now?
Well, yeah, because I hope that we've actually discussed or given ideas and kind of an overview of what you can use in a campaign.
Yep.
And like I said earlier, it's not necessarily mechanics, but it kind of gives you a different thought about way you can use the environment, the things in the environments to actually be used and stuff. So, I meant the only thing that we didn't really talk about, you talked about snow caves, but just ice caverns. If you take a look at some pictures of how blue and crystal-like they look like in
Ice Age.
Yeah, like Ice Age and everything like that. So you can find somebody's frozen butt in Caveman.
Yep.
So, have you seen the movie Caveman?
Yes, we watched it together.
Oh, okay. Did you ever see the show
with Ringo Starr?
Yes. Did you ever see the movie? I'm sorry, not the movie, but the show Night Court, or the original Night Court?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, the big, 7-foot plus tall bailiff bull was kind of ball-headed and everything like that. In the movie Caveman, when they go into the ice cave and they find the Yeti, and the Yeti breaks out and stuff like that, and then falls and slips on the ice, and you see this bare ass. The big bailiff in Night Court, Bull Shannon. That was him playing that role. Okay, odd knowledge.
I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it, but I'm pretty sure because I've heard. I just haven't. I haven't gone through to try to see, and I'm pretty sure you can see the big Yeti from Caveman in Ice Age.
Yes, you have. They place those Easter eggs in there. Definitely can. That is absolutely true. Awesome. I love
it's
Easter
in the
eggs.
first one, and it's when it's when they're sliding through. And then so but please
exactly what you do. All of a sudden you have
yeah.
like a collapse of the snow around you. You're shoved into an ice tunnel. You guys are all sliding around. You can separate if you wanted to, depending on how you do that. And then all of a sudden you have a subterranean frozen cavern that you have to find a way out to traverse and everything else. So, yeah, there you have a underground frozen environment. Yep. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, very, very cool. Okay.
Just off the top of our head, look at us go.
See, this is great. It's easy. And, just use different things out there. Use movies and whatnot.
Use your imagination.
Okay, I'm going to reference to South Park where I say that 50 million different times differently, and I'm not going to do that to you.
Well, I was referencing SpongeBob.
Okay. See, yeah, that's a little bit newer reference than my reference, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of an age difference, but oh well. Okay, so I guess at this particular point, we are at our our encounter corner.
Woo!
All right.
All right. So last week was G, and now I have H. I
Yes.
think that's how. Yes. So now,
Connor knows the alphabet.
Yay. So I have something super simple. I couldn't think of an H, but I was thinking about the northern people and their like and who would be in this sort of what kind of factions would be in an area such as this, right? And I thought of these people who hunt everywhere, and maybe their hunters are like the leadership, right? They are revered.
Okay.
And they are revered as highly as heroes. So I came up with the Hunters Guild, right? And
Okay.
this is the kind of pseudo government for all these different sporadic tribes in the north where there's pockets of people living, right? And people go out and hunt, and that's how you get your food. Those are the people that get you your food. Those are the people in charge, right?
Okay.
And in this culture, it's an honorable and noble profession. And so you have this guild, and the person in charge has Hagen Iverstead, and
Ooh, that's a good name.
he is an old elven man who is the founder of this Hunters Guild, right?
Okay.
And that is old by elven standards. He is at the end of his life, right? And he is the one that created this Hunters Guild. It's been around for generations, but he was the one that started it when he was a young elf. And the little what's the word? Hook, right? Is that he's at the end of his life, and there are several prominent guild members who are vying for this spot, right?
Okay.
And there's your tension, right? You could have a villain who maybe Hagen goes missing, or he and then the person who steps up was actually the one who killed him, or maybe he was killed and the person who's second in line is being framed so that the person third in line can come, and you can have like things like that, and just having like a little mystery about what happened. Or maybe the adventurers show up, they do something, maybe they do a job or two, and then, oh, look at that, Hagen's died of old age, and now there's a succession crisis.
See, that actually is really nice too. So that gives you a lot of different options and ways to actually go to play a campaign and actually be a hub for lots of different adventures out of there. So yeah.
But the guild, the actual Hunters Guild, is meant because you have these sporadic tribes and these sporadic like you have several different hotspots and stuff, and maybe you have a good hunting season up here, but down here there isn't as much. So you have a central administration. It's like, well, let's move some of that food over, and figure out, and just kind of like have a more actually talking and trading.
Okay.
I don't know. It was just a little thought and a little adventure hook, and getting into a little piece of the culture of somewhere, wherever you go, wherever your adventuring party shows up.
Yeah, because I mean that immerses them into that culture, trying to help deal with that crisis and whatnot, and thinking you have outsiders, they become they are unbiased observers.
Unbiased observers, absolutely. And you have people who will openly accept them as unbiased observers, and you have people who will be wary of them
and opposed
as outsiders, and you have that there. But a cool trick in your toolbox as a DM, as a world builder, right? As somebody who's creating this setting, if you have this really cool piece of lore, like this Hunters Guild, and like the whole history of this guy who created this central administration, make it part of the story. Make it important that this is a very important part of the culture, right? You want to get people and you want to get the characters, you want to get the players invested.
Yeah.
Make it important to them, make it make the story care about the your world build that you have.
No, that's cool. That's great, because I mean, that's just not we're going to go from point A to point B, but yeah, that sets up a setting for multiple campaigns, not campaigns, but multiple sessions to deal with that, which could actually lead to a larger campaign. So
absolutely,
going out there, you could have a couple of the player characters, depending on the ritual, even though they are an outsider, they're able to accomplish a goal or win at the challenge, and they become leader or another part of it or something like that. Or during these challenges, you have your bad guy sabotage the players. So instead of just doing that, you have the players involved in a sabotage situation, and then you have other people in town blaming the players because they're set up as the default people. So yeah, lots of different things there. So cool.
And it's a really easy cop out to not write a lot, so that you as the audience have the opportunity to fill in. It's not filling in gaps if I'm just setting you on a path.
Yes. We're not writing to be lazy. We're not writing to give you options.
Exactly.
We're
giving you the opportunity by not doing as much work.
Wow. But no, that does set up a bunch of different things. I really would impress me, the name of your leader. That was like cool. I mean, that's like that's just like a powerful name. So
it's a very powerful name that I came up with on my own, 100%.
Oh my God, you stole it from something then. What was it?
Of course I did. I can't tell you.
Well, I didn't get the reference, so that's all good.
You did not. No one will.
Okay.
But I will not. I cannot take credit for that name.
Okay. At least you're being honest. Okay. No, that's actually very, very cool. So, yeah. Sweet. I think that we are just about done here. Do you got anything else that you want to... Anything to add or something we skipped over or anything?
No.
Okay. Well, cool. All right. Well, at that point, I think we're going to go ahead and call that here. Once again, my name is... Oh, yeah.
Hello, that?
He got a call. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're going to call that.
Wow. You know, visual jokes work so good on podcasts.
Yeah, well, this is a video podcast.
Yes. Yes, so
if we don't do visual gags, then there's no point in having a visual medium. We have to use our space.
Yes, exactly. So, but do you have anything that you wanted to promote, talk, or anything like that at all?
Nope. I don't have any promotables. I don't have any pluggables.
Okay.
I know you do, though.
I do, and it's something I plug all the time. Basically, I have another YouTube channel I run, which is called 13 Peppers. There I taste and eat and sample hot peppers. I am in the midst of my growing. Have peppers that's been started in my basement for the last 6-8 weeks now. Mm-hmm. I gotta remember the date when I started those. Probably closer to 8 weeks, 7 maybe. And yeah, they're good size. So ready and everything like that, full. And I'm running out of space. So I had to actually buy more grow lights, more tables and stuff. So wasn't really prepared for that, but poor planning on my part because I'm like, ooh, I want more and more and more and more. But yeah, I grow these peppers. I eat them, I taste them, and I review them on the channel. And once again, that is 13 Peppers. And with that, my name is Ralph. I am Nerd.
And I'm Connor. I'm Son.
And
with that, you have a wonderful time.
See you guys later.